I'm still convinced this is the perfect time to get excited instead of worried. Want some proof? Here's what I'm seeing. The wealthy investors out there, they buy completely differently than your average retail trader. And guess what they've been doing lately? These big players have been scooping up XRP even right after that recent dip. It's fascinating how smart money moves so differently from regular retail investors. Here's the thing about these whales. They rarely get it wrong even when they buy and see a short-term pullback. You can't time everything perfectly, right? But when you see this kind of buying behavior, it's because they're absolutely convinced the price is heading much higher before they decide to sell. The wealthy have been quietly accumulating XRP, and that tells us something important. If you're still bullish on XRP like I am, you're definitely in good company. We're far from alone here. You've got wealthy investors, major institutions, and businesses, including publicly traded companies, actually using XRP for their real-world payment systems. At this point, it's pretty clear we're on the right track with XRP. It's already proven itself and crossed that finish line. We don't need to keep second-guessing anymore. The fun question now is just how high this thing can actually go, and I'm thinking way, way higher. Look, I don't do price predictions because that's just not my thing, I'll be honest. I'm not a technical analysis guy, and it would be fake of me to pretend otherwise. But do I think this is heading much higher? Absolutely. I mean, if I didn't believe that, why would I even own it? Alright, I think XRP is headed way higher from here too. But let me be crystal clear about something first. I don't have any financial background whatsoever. I'm not giving financial advice, and you definitely shouldn't buy or sell anything based on what I'm saying. I'm just someone who loves making YouTube videos about crypto as a hobby. It's purely for fun, and because I'm passionate about it. So yeah, I'm going to share some bullish perspectives from XRP chart analysts in this video, but I also want to give you some solid reasons to feel really optimistic about what's coming next. I think we're about to hit that final stage, the parabolic euphoric phase that everyone talks about in market cycles. Honestly, I'm about as convinced as I can possibly be that this is going to happen. We're talking close to 100% conviction here. That's how confident I am about this whole thing playing out. Here's a great post from chart analyst Crypto Wizard about Bitcoin dominance that really caught my attention. He's looking at the market cap Bitcoin dominance percentage chart and wrote, "Beautifully respected." Jumping off the mountain, the 4.5-year trend line in Bitcoin dominance was as strong as steel, having rejected the last line of defense. Bulls will gather strength. Lower to go, which means higher for your bags. Check this out. Bitcoin dominance has been climbing for about 2.5 years now. Sure, there were some dips along the way, but the overall trend? Straight up. And that's totally normal, historically speaking. But here's the exciting part. It's finally breaking down right now. And this is happening exactly when we've got so many different signals lining up perfectly in the market. I mean, this is exactly what you'd hope and expect to see at this point in the cycle. With all these pieces falling into place at once, how can you not be absolutely pumped about what's coming next? Historically, when Bitcoin dominance drops like it's doing right now, that's exactly when altcoins start to shine and Bitcoin's price can still rocket much higher. If history repeats itself, and it usually does, we're looking at Bitcoin making a parabolic run upward. But here's the kicker. Even with Bitcoin doing well, altcoins are going to absolutely smoke it in terms of gains. That's where the real life-changing money is made, let's be honest. Look, Bitcoin isn't where savvy investors go today if they actually want to get wealthy in crypto. Don't get me wrong, Bitcoin could definitely be worth way more down the road. I'm not arguing against that at all. But if you want serious returns at a decent pace, it's altcoins all the way, and XRP is a perfect example. I mean, come on, it couldn't be more obvious. The beautiful thing is that everything is playing out exactly how you'd want it to. It's like watching a perfect setup unfold in real time, and we get to be part of it. Here's what chart analyst Mikey Bull Crypto posted that really got my attention. Altcoins dominance on a retest. Next stage after this reset will be massive. And look at what's happening right now. Altcoin dominance is creeping up while Bitcoin dominance is dropping. This is textbook bull market final stage behavior, folks. This is exactly what we see when we're heading into that last parabolic rally before alt season really kicks off. We definitely want to see this trend continue. And honestly, doesn't that seem like the most likely scenario here? I mean, none of us have a crystal ball, myself included, so we can't know anything for certain. But when you look at all the evidence we've got in front of us, Wouldn't you agree it's pretty probable that this thing goes way higher from here? That's where I'm landing on it. Here's a post from chart analyst Pintoshi. This guy's huge in crypto with 875,000 followers, and I've been following him for about 5 years now. He's looking at an ETH USD chart and wrote, Ethereum setting the stage for poking its head above $4,000. Remember when Ethereum was dead a few months ago? That's what they were saying anyway. Think about this for a second. The price dropped all the way down to around $1,400, and now it's sitting at about $3,731 as I'm recording this. That's pushing close to $3,800. Remember all that Ethereum is dead talk just a few months back? Everyone was writing it off completely, except, well, it's obviously not dead at all. I kept saying this over and over. How could anyone think it was actually finished? It's pretty wild how quickly the narrative flips, isn't it? One day, everyone's calling it dead, and the next it's knocking on the door of $4,000 again. Exactly. Just because a price drops doesn't mean an asset is dead. That's such a basic mistake people make. XRP was the perfect example of this last year when it was trading ridiculously low against both the dollar and Bitcoin. I mean, it was practically at historic lows against Bitcoin. But that's exactly when you get maximum opportunity. And look where we are now, less than a year later. It's obvious that was the sweet spot to get in. And oh my God, I love this picture. Look at that. You've got Michael Saylor looking absolutely thrilled while he's embracing Ethereum's Vitalik Buterin. The bromance is real. They're just out there having what looks like the most wholesome night ever at a Coldplay concert. I mean, come on, could this be any more perfect? The crypto romance we never knew we needed. This stuff just makes me smile. Oh, here's the math that gets me excited. If Ethereum hits $4,000 and XRP matches Ethereum's market cap, which honestly wouldn't shock me at all, that puts XRP at around $8. And there's actually solid historical precedent for this. XRP has bumped up against Ethereum's market cap before and has even claimed that number 2 spot several times throughout history. That's exactly why I keep saying double-digit XRP isn't some wild fantasy. It's really not that big of an ask when you think about it logically. Now look, I can't say for certain it's going to happen. I keep emphasizing that I don't do price predictions. But is it crazy to think this scenario is actually pretty probable? Not at all. The pieces are all there, the history supports it, and the momentum is building. It's one of those things where when you lay out the numbers like this, it starts to feel less like wishful thinking and more like a reasonable expectation based on what we've seen before. Here's a post from X-Force Global about Bitcoin Cash that caught my attention. Now, I'm not particularly excited about this specific coin, but I'm bringing it up because it shows the good stuff happening with altcoins across the board, which is exactly what you want to see. Bitcoin Cash hasn't hit a new all-time high since December 20th, 2017. I have no idea if it'll ever reach those heights again, but honestly, I wouldn't be surprised to see it run way higher from here. Full transparency, I do own some Bitcoin Cash, but not because I'm super confident in its long-term prospects. Here's my approach. I put the biggest chunk of my money into coins that actually have real utility. Those are my true conviction plays where I really believe in what they're doing. But I also wanted broad exposure to the whole asset class because over the last several years, basically throughout the whole bear market, I bought a ton of different coins that I don't necessarily have deep conviction in. But here's the thing, I know this asset class moves together like a herd. I'm not expecting all of them to hit new all-time highs this cycle, or maybe ever. But once they're 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times higher, I'm selling. When there's a big run happening, I'm not going to get greedy and hold out for those all-time highs. I just want those solid multiples and I'm out. Bitcoin Cash falls into exactly that category for me. I've been playing this strategy for ages now. Anyway, X-Force Global wrote, Bitcoin Cash just woke up to a fresh new high. So far, we have sustained buying pressure above the VD trend line for about a month. And when he says high, he's talking about a local high. Remember, the actual all-time high was back in 2017. Then he drops this line. This is not good news, it's fantastic news. Here's what chart analyst Mustache posted that really got my attention. He's looking at altcoins using the crypto total market cap chart, excluding Bitcoin. It's called Total 2. He says, I think it's time to pull up one of the most important altcoin charts again. Total 2 looks primed for a big run in my opinion, and you can see that what's playing out now is the same as what happened last cycle and the cycle before that. Check out those orange ovals he's marked on the chart. You can see there was a blue trend line for each cycle, including this current one. And here's the key part. When it finally broke above that trend line each time, that's when things really took off. And guess what? It's broken above it now. Sure, we're not shooting straight up in a perfect line, but that's totally normal. It never does that anyway. Markets don't move in perfect straight lines. But the breakout is happening. It's already happened. This is exactly why I keep asking, how can you not be absolutely pumped right now? Here's what chart analyst Zoom posted that caught my eye. I don't see XRP going below the $2.80 zone. Hopefully he's right. That lines up pretty well with what I've been hearing from other analysts too. It reminds me of what chart analyst Dom from TraderView 2 mentioned. He was citing the $2.90 level as support. I mean, we're probably splitting hairs here since they're so close. But the point is we're sitting comfortably above both those levels. What's really encouraging is that this most recent pullback didn't even take XRP below $3. The time before that, it did dip slightly to about $2.98, but that's still showing some serious strength. Here's what's really fascinating though, that $2.98 dip happened when basically all altcoins were getting crushed a few days ago. This time around, Bitcoin crashed down into the upper $114,000, and yeah, XRP did drop with it. But here's the crazy part. It didn't even go as low as it did when all the other altcoins were getting hammered earlier. I mentioned this in my last video, but it's just showing incredible resilience even while Bitcoin was tanking. And honestly, so many analysts were calling for exactly this kind of Bitcoin dip. The fact that it hit those lows and then bounced back a bit, totally expected. Nothing scary about it at all, frankly. Here's what chart analyst Ali Martinez posted that really reinforces everything we've been talking about. Whales bought the dip, scooping up over 130 million XRP in the past 24 hours. Are you scared right now? Because I'm telling you, the wealthy aren't. These whales are loading up on XRP because they're absolutely convinced it's heading much higher from here. Here's a great post from chart analyst Matsby that caught my attention. He says, using a Fibonacci retracement from the 2014 high and low, XRP continues to wick through the 2.272 Fibonacci extension at $3.09, which was previous resistance now acting as support. And as I'm recording this, XRP is sitting at around $3.13, still holding nicely above that level. You absolutely love to see that kind of technical strength. Even in the short term, XRP is looking pretty solid. Now don't get me wrong, the short-term action doesn't matter nearly as much as the big picture stuff we've been talking about, but it's still encouraging to see this kind of resilience, especially when you combine it with everything else that's happening. Here's a post from chart analyst Stephus Crypto. XRP's monthly breakout is still going strong, and wow, just look at this chart. It's completely smashed through that 7-year symmetrical triangle we've been watching. After moving up and then trading sideways for 6 months, it's back in action again. You know what? I've been calling this exact pattern for years and years, especially all through 2024 and into this year. I kept telling everyone, here's the typical playbook, one massive jump up, sideways consolidation for about half a year, then boom, another big move up. And wouldn't you know it, that's precisely what's unfolding right now. Look, I can't give you every single reason why this happens, but I'm seeing it play out live. This same cycle happened before. Big rally, 6 months of sideways action, then another explosive move. We saw it in 2017 too. So why would this time be any different? It won't be. It's honestly pretty entertaining how predictable we humans can be, doing the same things again and again. I genuinely love observing these patterns repeat. So chart analyst Bark just dropped this pretty bold statement. This is your last chance to buy XRP before the next mega pump. You've been warned. And honestly, the whales seem to agree with him. They've been quietly accumulating like crazy. We're about to find out just how high this thing can fly. I'm thinking it's going way higher than where we're sitting right now. We're basically in that final phase right before the second major pump really kicks into gear. I mean, you could argue it's already started, but these things don't always follow a perfect script. Here's the thing though, I just can't wrap my head around this not ending incredibly well. It's honestly hard to imagine any other outcome. What makes this time different? Come on. XRP has been artificially held back for years, and now those barriers are finally gone. We've got a level playing field in crypto for the first time in ages, and some people think it's just over. Yeah, I'm not buying that for a second. XRP is about to go absolutely ballistic. Check out this juicy headline from Cointelegraph. XRP versus ETH. Which token is quietly outperforming in whale-fueled rallies? Whale-fueled? Now that's what I like to hear. So here's the scoop. Ether and XRP have been absolutely crushing it as the top-performing large-cap crypto assets over the past 30 days, with returns of 52% and 45% respectively. Pretty impressive stuff. But here's where it gets really interesting. XRP has been smoking Ethereum over the past year. Since July 2024, XRP has absolutely exploded by 552%, while Ethereum managed a more modest 6.34% gain, climbing to around $3,600 from $3,432. Even looking at year-to-date performance, XRP is stealing the show, jumping from $2.08 to $3.10. That's a solid 49% increase compared to Ethereum's 9.5% rise over the same time frame. And guess what's driving all this action? Whale accumulation is playing a huge role in these recent price movements. Get this. Sentiment data shows that 2,743 wallets are now holding over 1 million XRP each. That's a whopping 47.32 billion tokens, which represents roughly 4.4% of the total circulating supply. All this concentration has tightened up the available supply, helping fuel that sweet 50% price bump during the first half of July. So here's the thing, folks. What are the smart money players actually doing? Think about it, because these wealthy individuals didn't get rich by accident. There's a reason they have all that money, and it's not because they make poor financial decisions. Sure, nobody's perfect, but generally speaking, these people are wealthy because they consistently make smart moves and keep repeating those winning strategies. I mean, they wouldn't stay whales for very long if they were constantly making bad calls, right? And right now, they're going long on XRP, like really, really long on XRP. It honestly couldn't be more obvious if they tried. As far as I'm concerned, we've never seen a better time in history to be holding XRP. Those are just the facts as I see them. Now, quick disclaimer here. I'm definitely not a financial advisor, and you absolutely should not buy or sell anything based on what I'm saying.